Grayson's Grades. After every Eagles game, check out Grayson's Grades at 973ESPN.com. They're brought to you by Tuckahoe Turf Farm, the official sod provider of Lincoln Financial Field. Get stadium quality for your lawn. Go to ttfarms.com for more information or call 877-TURF-FARM. Scott Grayson was there yesterday. He's got his grades posted, and I believe he tweeted, Pete Thompson, a record number of A's. If you were doing a report card, Pete, you'd be an easy grader.
Yeah, there's a lot of A's and B's on my report card. It's funny, we're doing studs and duds today because I had a hard time finding some duds.
Yeah, we're going to mix it up a little bit on the studs and duds today. 5:30 tonight. We got a little curveball on the studs and duds.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Okay.
Scott Grayson was at the game. He's with us now. Don't forget, check out Grayson's Grades after every Eagles game at 973ESPN.com. A record number of A's. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I was sitting there last night at one point, and you kind of read it when you look at Nick Foles, but I'm like, I can't find somebody to not give an A to after that kind of. And I thought, well, he gave up the touchdown to the Broncos, so I might as well give Foles a B in his limited playing time. But it was nothing short of impressive, that's for sure.
Let me ask you, we've been talking all day, and if you were to say, what's the difference between the 2016 and 2017 Eagles? What are a couple things that have changed that caused this team from whatever they were at this point last year to the 8-1 team we are now?
I think growth would be the biggest thing, in the fact that look, Pederson has some time now to get his feet under him. Last year, you think back to it, right? 8 days before, Howie pulls out this carpet from under him and says, "Look, we want you to start Carson Wentz because we traded Sam Bradford." So the plan that Pederson had thought he had was suddenly whipped out from under him. And I think he knew they were overmatched at times last year, which is why he made some of the questionable coaching decisions that he did, not to make excuses for him. But, look, they knew going into this season, Wentz is our guy. He had now 16 games of experience, which you can't understate how important that was for Wentz's development. Not only that, he won over the locker room by the end of last year, Wentz, that is, and Pederson. And I think the fact that both of them were moving forward this year coming into it, he went to Howie, or Howie had come to him, said, "What do you need?" He listed a few things. And, look, Howie Roseman has done a great job of finding the right pieces to put around this team. And so far it's worked. And I think those are the biggest things. That and the locker room has truly gelled in a way that I haven't seen around here in a long time.
You wrote about it today at 973ESPN.com regarding Doug Pederson and, that the Eagles enjoy playing for Pederson. Is that to suggest that they didn't like playing for him last year, or they did and just, he wasn't really there as a head coach yet? But why has this team been so successful? How has he managed? How have they managed to survive the injuries? Does a lot of that go back to Doug?
I think a lot of it does. That's what I was trying to find out last night after the game when I was talking to the players was, how much of the credit does Doug Pederson deserve? And, they all kept saying that, he does a great job of understanding who they are, what their needs are, what it's like to be a player in this league. And the fact that the most impressive thing I think I got out of them was that, look, Pederson walks around that building and he talks to them. He's very interested in what's going on in their lives. He's very interested in what they think. And if there's something that one of them think they see on film, whether it's offense, defense, whatever, and they think that they have something that they want to explore, they'll talk to him about it, and he will listen. And Malcolm Jenkins said that is very uncharacteristic for a young coach and rare for a coach in general at this level to do. Most of them have the egos. Most of them have the way, their way of doing it, or the highway. And Doug Pederson has listened to these guys for their input, and I think that that's really what we're seeing the effect of. These guys want to go out there and give everything they've got for him because, it's almost like they left a death sentence with Chip Kelly, because it was the complete opposite, right? You walk around the halls in that building, he doesn't even acknowledge you or the fact that you exist. You're just a number to him. You're one of 53 players on a Sunday that are out there going to play for him. Pederson treats them as if they're much more important than that. And I think that's what's, allowed this team to truly take ownership of what they are, what they can be, and go out there and do the best they can because they're doing it for their teammates and their coaches, who they have a great amount of respect for. And we didn't see that around here in the past.
Another guy that got an A was Jay Ajayi, and a lot of people weren't even sure he was going to play or how much he'd be involved. But what did you see from him that makes you excited moving forward? He'll now get the bye week to kind of learn the playbook and study up, and he probably will be implemented more than he was yesterday, even though he got 17 plays yesterday.
Yeah, I would expect him to be more involved in the future for all the reasons you listed. But the thing that I noticed most about Ajayi was walking in the locker room, the smile on his face was bigger than I could even describe. He was, talk about a death sentence. There's a guy who was clearly not having fun in Miami and came up here and in his first game with the Eagles was just loving every moment of it. And that's the impression I got from his body language after the game and pretty much in the words he was saying. He said, I hadn't scored a touchdown all year. I scored my first one in my first game with the Eagles. How great is that, basically? And there's a guy I think that, some people were worried about how you're going to do with this guy, inserting him into this locker room that is doing so good in terms of having the kind of chemistry it does. I don't think it's going to skip a beat. I think he's so happy to be here. I think, the offensive lineman I talked to had a great amount of respect for the way he ran the ball yesterday. And I think that's what we're going to see, a guy who's going to just come in and do his part. And, it remains to be seen who's going to be the odd man out. Yesterday it was Smallwood. I'm guessing that's going to kind of be the way it is. LeGarrette Blount has done a good job this year with his carries. Smallwood's shown the ability to get hurt. I'm wondering if he's just going to kind of wait in the wings. And we heard Doug Pederson say today that he doesn't intend to have all 5 running backs active from here on out. That only happened yesterday because of the injury to Ertz and the fact that he wasn't going to play right before the game.
Jay Ajayi, his first touchdown in 157 touches, by the way. Scott Grayson with us here for Grayson's Grades. And since you brought up the injury to Ertz, what grade did you give Trey Burton, who probably did not expect going to Lincoln Financial Field in the morning that he might be that involved in the offense, but all of a sudden sort of promotion to the game plan when Zach Ertz went down?
You got to love Burton, right? I mean, this guy just sits and waits for his opportunities, and when they come, he makes the plays. He's got great hands and great ability. And on the play, the thing that amazed me on the play that he caught the touchdown pass, when I saw Wentz let go of the ball, I quick looked to where it was going, and Burton hadn't even turned around yet. And the presence of mind to know exactly where it was going to be for a guy who is not getting as many reps as Ertz has gotten, on that play to be ready for it, to bring it in, to get the knee down inbounds, to hold on to the ball, all that it took to get that touchdown. That was just such a huge play. And you can't help but love Trey Burton. His attitude has been great. He's a great team guy. It was his turn, and this team keeps saying, look, next man up. It was next man up. Trey Burton stepped up. I gave him an A because I thought, let alone everything else he did in the game, that catch was first and foremost. That's a top-line catch. I mean, there's not many tight ends in the league who are making that catch, and he did. And it was a huge play at the time for the Eagles. And, look, he's a guy who I just see continuing to evolve more and more here. And as Brent Selleck gets phased out, which he's been great for this organization, and he had some catches yesterday too, the 2 tight ends combined for 80 yards and a touchdown. I think we're going to see more of Trey Burton as Brent Selleck starts to, wind down his career.
It was kind of refreshing to see, too, that Ertz, who many think is having the best year of any tight end in the league, and is particularly it would most likely be most people's answer to who's the best weapon, that not only did you put a 50 burger up without him, that the other guys stepped in there and you didn't miss a beat. Like to say, if Ertz got hurt and missed the rest of the year, that you almost said, I don't know that they would miss a beat with Burton.
Yeah, I mean, I think Burton is a lot more Ertz-like, in the sense that he's got the kind of hands that Zach does. And for that reason, I agree with you. I think that, if something unfortunate were to happen to Zach Ertz, you're okay at that position. That's one where – but, I don't think that surprised anybody. I think that everybody kind of felt like, look, they're good at tight end going into the season. Of all the places where I felt like they had potentially some depth issues, tight end wasn't one of them because Trey Burton has done a nice job. Assuming that receiving role. We know Brent Selleck has been a good pass catcher and a very good blocker in his career. And that he will chime in and do his part, too, to catch the ball like he did yesterday. So I agree with you. I think, you want Zach Ertz out there for all the things that he creates. But you're right. Against that defense without Ertz to go in and do what they did still at that position, it speaks volumes about the depth at that position on this team.
You know, when you put up 51 points, you are going to get a lot of report card grades about the offense, but there were defenders out there, too. Of the guys that you graded, who did you think graded out the highest?
Look, Fletcher Cox was creating all kinds of havoc. And every time you talk about this defense, you always have to start with him. I think so much confusion begins with what Fletcher brings to the middle of that defensive line. And you see him coming, up the middle. He got to Osweiler. He got to Osweiler multiple times. He was hitting him repeatedly, especially early in the game. And I think he had a profound effect on some of the misfires that Osweiler made were due to, his ability to get back in that pocket and create havoc. And then you look around him and on defense, because of that defensive line, these corners are not having to cover as long, and it's making a big impact. It related to a couple of turnovers yesterday. They're missing Jordan Hicks, but you got to give credit to the guys who are filling in there. I mean, Joe Walker got beat a couple times, but not badly, and he's not Jordan Hicks when he was filling in there. But Nigel Bradham's doing well. Michael Kendricks has been playing out of his mind. I just think this defense is really well tuned to handle all the stuff that's going to come at it. And now they're going to get some more key players back, like Ronald Darby. And, we're going to start to ask the question in about a month. Is Sidney Jones going to be a possibility to play late in the season or potentially in the postseason? And, these are all things that the Eagles got to love at this point.
Scott Grayson's got Grayson's grades up after every Eagles game, and next up will be Eagles-Dallas after the bye week. So check out his other Eagles coverage, including his latest piece up there right now that the Eagles are enjoying playing for Pederson at 97.3ESPN.com. All right, Scotty, we'll be catching up very shortly, man. We know the bye week always feels a little longer, but when things are going good, man. They are things feel a little different than when they're not moving in that good direction. When you're like,
better to be here than in Denver today. Let's put it that way.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Scott Grayson.